Hi, Dr. Maria Cristina here, She in Health and Wellness, and I'm going to share a little bit about my journey and why it matters to you. So at 69, I was really concerned about what the 70s were going to look like. I was slowing down. I was feeling, well, I was overweight. And I was getting that invisible feeling that many of the ladies talk about once we get past 50, 60 or so, because things just look like they're going downhill. And I was definitely on the way to aging stereotypically. And I took a long pause to try to figure out, how did I want the next decades to go? Luckily, I had two examples of how that might look. Okay, so mom and dad, okay, both lived into their late 90s, very differently, very, very differently, two paths. And so I started reflecting on, what path do I want? So I looked at my mom's path. She never exercised. Her weight went up and down over the decades. She was very isolated, didn't join groups or stay connected to loved ones after, a certain age. She became very much into a almost depressive state, very anxious. I never once saw her do a single exercise. And depression came in, and then the long, long slide into Alzheimer and dementia. And it was 14 years from the first moment that I recognized something was going wrong until the end. So was that going to be my trajectory? Because both of these, we have longevity in our family. So both of these parents had lived a long time. And then there was my dad. Okay, so my dad joined the Senior Olympics in his 70s. I played tennis with him when he was celebrating his 89th birthday. Now, I gave him a second bounce. He was a little bit slower, but he was 89 years old and he was still loving tennis. And he got into racquetball when he was in his 70s and played until he was in his 80s when the eye-hand coordination got to him, and he switched over and stayed with tennis. Uh, I can remember seeing little weights around his apartment with my mom. And she never picked up one, but he did, and he put them strategically in places so he would remember to pick them up. He was actively engaged in his 90s, loved swimming, and really cognitively, he did not decline as my mom did. So I had two pathways, and so I wanted to explore the pathway I wanted to go with my dad's pathway, not my mom's pathway. But I didn't know what to do. Okay, so I didn't understand nutrition. I didn't understand what to do about this fluctuating weight. I certainly didn't know what to do in terms of exercise. That was my dilemma then. Okay, so does that resonate with you at all? Are you into that feeling of, hey, this is just the way it is? We're going to just age this way. We're going to decline. We're going to get heavy. We're going to be invisible. It's not preventable. Is that where you are? Okay, because I can tell you, no, you don't have to be there. You can change that. You can break through that belief, that cycle of decline. You don't have to. And so I was my first client when I decided to go another way. So I explored training and became a health coach and fitness coach. And I was my first client. And so in my 8th decade now, I think I did a pretty good job. And what I found was, you do not have to stay all day in the gym. That's just not necessary. You don't have to do it. Okay, there isn't a magic pill. I will say that. We all want the magic pill, the one thing that It's so simple. You don't have to do anything, and then you have to worry about the consequences to your body, right? No. But this is simple steps that you can take, and all the magic is there in one word, and that's consistency. Taking these tiny little steps, and that's why I condense what I learned over the past decade plus into something called the stability solution. And what happens there is you get stronger, okay? You gain command of what you're going to eat and how you're going to eat and how you're going to exercise, how you're going to maximize your time, because who has all day? So check it out. It's called the stability solution. Your body will thank you.